Fanatics weekly auction number 238. We're going to look at the Michael Jordan cards that sold for at least $200 in the weekly auction now a week after the National, and look back at how the prices are compared to my last data batch pull, I think, for the most part in like early July. Check out my Substack linked below. Get in there. You can get a free membership to start and then see if you like it. But for paid members, we track the like 800 most well-known Michael Jordan cards from the Bulls playing years. I look at all of the sales data, the pop counts, and we run all sorts of fun things with it. And today, we're going to do just the results for the weekly to see if there's any indication of the bull market coming to at least a plateau. So we'll look at that based on what we see here. And I'm doing a similar series that I've got. Let's see, today's the 10th. Tomorrow will come out a Substack where I ran an algorithm where I looked at cards that had the most sales, or at least a combination of sales, biggest price increase, and like the number of graded at or higher. As well, to see which cards are the most likely to start the avalanche of prices cooling down. So far, what you're going to read tomorrow is not much, but it's pretty cool. So I'm going to try to do that weekly as, we look for something to break here. Or who knows, maybe they'll just keep going up. I don't know. In any case, check that out. And yeah, so here we go. Okay, so let's hit this. I'm actually going to use my database that I've already pulled these cards into for a little bit of a look. But here's just a quick glance of, some of these. I don't know that we'll look at them all, but let's just pop in here. All right. If you missed last week's version of this, this is what we're going to be looking at here. So I've got the card, obviously, and what we're going to show, and this is going to be in order of percent change in price from last sale, and last sale recorded, which I'm going to give you the date. So it's not going to be the actual last sale. It's going to be when I last pulled the batch. Since, running this query, I'm doing it on my data. It's not, the live on there. So when I update the sales, it'll update here as well. So in any case, we'll just go through an example here on this Fleer hardwood. It's down 25%, the PSA 10. And you'll see it has a slab PSA 10 here and then also PSA 10 here. What I did was the one below it is actually a good example. So I compared any non-PSA or BGS, those two compared to their own grades because I have more data on it. But I thought it was interesting just to compare to the PSA version. So to give you an idea of what sort of a deal you could get on, say, a Scoring Kings SGC 7 versus a 9, and it looks like you get 16.7% off. And then over here we've got the Fanatics sale. So from the weekly was $3K for an SGC 7 versus 3,600 last sale that I have for PSA, which was back in July 5th, which I'm sure there's been another one since then. But in any case, that's kind of what's going on there. I do have more data though for any card that's a PSA. If we scroll over, I've got the pop, I've got the gem rate, and then for non-PSA 10s, this would be different. So this would be if this was a PSA 9, this would be the rate for a mint or better. So 9 and 10. So obviously this is a 10, so it's the same. And then same thing with the pop count here, it would have the total pop. So we could scroll over there every now and then for a little reference. So that's kind of what we're doing here, and we're going in order of percent change. So these cards are so this card is down a little bit, and we can pop into it's real easy to take this and then pop it into alt, And then we can get some of the more updated data on it. So evidently this PSA 10 is down a little bit from the July 5th. Yeah, so it sold 7,200, which I believe was the sale we had here. The baseline, but it since came down a little bit and kind of flattened here to like 5,400. So it dipped to 5,000, back up another 400. So overall, flat from July 26th. Looks like my bug zapper got one. So that's interesting. All right. Yeah, this card's been on a heater. Actually, any lightning card, as you're going to see, has been on fire. I think everyone's about Michael Jordan lightning cards. And I get it. It's a really cool theme, regardless of how rare they are, not just the Scoring Kings. But for instance, yeah, the Scoring Kings, I guess we could just take a look real quick. Let's have a little fun. July 24th. Wow. July 24th sale, 63K. Yikes. That is holy for a pop 96. Yeah. Yowzers. July 20th, August 9th. So we did have an 8. So the 8 is on an auction down a little bit from, even if you look at the last auction from a week ago, down a little bit. So lightning maybe was flying a little bit too high. I don't know. All right, season's best. This card has been en fuego as well. Credit me for that joke. SGC 9 again. This is not really as big of a deal as you might think. SGC 9 versus PSA 960 versus 1100 back in July 4th. So yeah, so pick it out what you will. Got the 91 upper deck, billion of these cards made, but kind of holding flat. So this would be one too that I believe appears on my card avalanche prospect. So cards that could be an indicator of some cooling to arise. But yeah, so we're kind of flat here. August 7th, 1400, August 9th, a couple days. 3,152 copies of this card. I think is just kind of crazy. But yeah, all August's been kind of flat. You can kind of even see here on their little map. So that's that. We've got the 86 Fleer. SGC 4 is selling pretty much right at a PSA 4, going for 55.20. And I thought the ones were even going for close to 5K. I might be wrong on that, but we'll skip another upper deck. This is a 9.5 version. Now we've got the 88 Fleer All-Star BGS 8.5. Pretty much flat. We'll call that flat. August to June. Last sale on that. This Michael Jordan 89 Hoops. One of the most mass-produced Michael Jordan cards there is. And yeah, you can see over here, we've got a pop 6,563. Yeah, I think this might be number 2 next to the 90 Fleer, if I'm not mistaken. But still up 516 after a 488 at the end of June. So can't really explain that. I don't know what to say. So I'm if you got him. PSA 8 second year, we're up 6% from a June 28th. Let's take another look at this one. What was that? PSA 8, I think it was. Yeah. Take a quick peek. Pop 9,000. All right, so an auction down 1620 from about 1786. If you look just at the auctions, buy it now, right at it too. So, all right, so some signs of maybe flattening, and maybe we found the peak on some of these cards, and except the 89 Hoops, maybe that'll be soon after. They're not all going to start at once, right? The sticker PSA 8. is up. Let's see how many of there's 6,982 PSA 8s or higher. And we're still up a little bit, rookie year tax you're paying there. Hoop Screams, PSA 8, 252, kind of just a little bit up. So, all defensive BGS 9 is up. We're at 440 from a June 23rd, 400. Okay. So after a month or so. Court Kings up 12% on a PSA 5. And that's from January. PSA 5, I guess, probably doesn't sell as much. What's the pop or higher than that? 115? Okay. Metal Universe, crazy card. 500 for a PSA 5. That's wild. Okay. Another Fleer sticker there. SGC 9.5. It looks like it compared it to a 9. So that's not bad. You figure an SGC 9.5 is going to get you a 9 anyway, but not always. 13% increase on a 9, not too bad of a deal, maybe. Another All-Star PSA 8. We're at a 15% increase from the end of June. This weird baseball card. Okay, that's cool. Sticky Fingers. This card, $600. Yeah, I remember these used to sell for like $100 raw, and there's just a lot of them. The pop 2,039 PSA 7 or higher, going for $660. Okay. Gravity Denied up 19% from June 21st. We're at 4,400 from 3,725. Second year Fleer, BGS 9.5. Up from June 14th, went from 7,800 to 93. Rainman up 20% and a BGS 8.5 from early June. A little bit there. 97 Hooper Stars, 20%. That's a PSA 9. Competitive Advantage, 9.5. Looks like we have a couple of them here. So a couple sales, a $5,000 one and a 5160. Interesting. Did they? Two of them sell the other night? Maybe. 95 Finest, PSA 9. I'm not sure if this is the one with the coating or if just my image caught it or not. But I guess you can look that up. Pop 668 9s and 10s for this. So more on this card later in a different version. 26% for the Fleer sticker, PSA 5. Yeah, I guess those lower grades too are a little variable, so I'm not really sure what to make of this, but this one is wild. There's a lot. There's so many of this card, and it's a cool card though. PSA 10, 990. We're almost at 1,000, up 27% from the end of June, so a little over a month. About the same for the 89 Fleer. So in 1 month, your like old ubiquitous Michael Jordan cards. There's actually not that many, I guess, there's 568 of these. I would have thought there'd be more. Probably will be soon with these prices. Now we get into a couple of the 30-year Fleers, an 8 and a 9, up pretty much the same percentage. So from June 29th, both of them sold. Limited access, PSA 7, 31%. Stadium Club, 96 Fusion, PSA 4. Interesting that we caught 2 sales of that. Yeah, I guess this card is ridiculously, if not the most difficult grade of any card. But I should have did how many were graded lower than a PSA 4. Probably some. 87 sticker, 33.8% on a BGS 8.5. This Panini sticker, the PSA 10, up 34% from middle of June, so almost like a couple months there. 91 Skybox, again, another card, 2,961 with a 37% gem rate. And we're still climbing. Let's take a look at this one. Why not? Okay, yeah. Jeez. 348. We're still going up. We look at the chart here. It's a cool card, very 90s. I sold one 150 or so. It's been a little while and went too early. But yeah, we'll see how that do. A couple of finest here. It's just a repeat, PSA 8. So I don't know if 2 sold on this card as well. So yeah, that's that. SGC 9.5 comparing to the PSA 9 there. That's interesting. Would you rather pay $2,880 for an SGC 9.5 or $2,100 for a PSA 9? Well, on July 6th anyway. Wonder what the 9 is. So $2,880 now. What would a PSA 9 be? Because again, some of these sales are likely older. Yeah, $3,500 pretty much. Buy it now. Last auction, $3,200, somewhere in there. Yeah, so I guess you kind of got a deal on an SGC 9.5 going for a little bit cheaper than a PSA 9. Date for date. So there you go. PSA 8 gold medallion. Good grief, this card. I've got a 9 and I'm just going to hold it. It's probably going to crater in price, but it is one of the best looking Jordan cards. So, and a pack that I used to rip when I was little. So a lot of nostalgia effect there. Yeah, we've got 40% on the 90 Fleer All-Stars. And there's 6,483 9s and 10s. Stadium Club Beam Team up 40% from end of June on a BGS 8. Hot numbers, PSA 9, $5,400. I traded mine. When was this? Be like, I think a year and a half ago, maybe, and it was like a $900 comp. And this is a super easy card to grade. Yeah, 29% gem. Not super rare. I thought I could get it back. Not so sure now. Second year Stadium Club Royal Court, BGS 9, up 40%, 855 to 1,200. Skyview up 40%. So we're now getting into the ridiculous range for leaps. And as you can see from my pill bar, we still have a way to go. So overall, I would just say we are still rocking. We are still rocking. There are a few cards that have slowed, but most of them still getting really crazy. 9.5 on a warp speed. There's a lot of these too. That's not super rare, but it's just super cool. Cool cards are up. What can you say? 96 Ultra Scoring Kings, PSA 8. Pretty much any decent grade on any cool insert is going to be up. Titanium up half. Finest with coating up 330 to 336 from 219, and that's for a PSA 8. This one I looked at, this gold. I like this card, and these gold versions are really rare. The non-gold are super not rare. I saw a little black dot on it, so I didn't bid because I don't think that would have crossed, but it would have been a fun one to try to cross. Planet Metal, first year of that, 9.5, 9,300 after a $6,000 sale, but that was back in April, so it's been a minute that a 9.5 has sold. So that kind of explains that. Still, yeah, things are up. There's the Infuego again. This one, the 9, I think we saw the 8. Was it? I don't remember. But 1740 you're looking at after July 4th. Fireworks $1,100 sale, and now we're at $1,740 on a card that is this PSA 9. We've got 1,314 9s and 10s. So market is still hot. Stadium Club 92, members only. Members choice. A lot of members things going on there. 88 sticker up about 60% on a PSA 7. A 7. There are 3,029 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. But we're still climbing. Fleer BGS 9 up 60%. I got a 30K sale last night after. Looks like I don't have a last sale since May, which might explain that. I'm sure there have been some. Topps Chrome preview, a 10. I've got a 9 in this from a recent grade, so it's nice to see the 10 make some numbers here. We've hit 5 figures on this card in a PSA 10, pop 24. So that kind of explains it. People want that. PSA 9 on the 89 Fleer is up to 67%. That's crazy. We saw the 10 was, where was the 10? The 9's raising higher than the, than the 10. 27% versus 60. You kidding me? That's interesting. Lower grades are up. People are just wanting, I guess if they can't afford the 10, they're willing to pay more for the lower grade. So what does that mean? I guess that kind of means that, it's probably more on the collector side of people doing this and not flippers. People are just looking for the right grade. Maybe not, but the best grade that they can afford. East-West, this card is always hot. I guess just because people like Kobe, I don't really care for this card, to be honest. It's so overpriced for me. Another, we've seen a couple of these All-Stars already, and now we're at the 7. We've got a 9.5 Flair Showcase, up 79% from late April. 86 Fleer, the PSA 3 is at 9,000. My goodness. Another sticker. Well, here's a 10 that was, there's a lower grade that we had before. Pop 385 on this, up from a mid-June sale. So maybe this card's just, people are sleeping on this card. I'll be honest, I was only vaguely familiar with this card. Hardwood Honors 8. Again, another lower grade, make its way up here. Here's a 10. This one, Pop 97. I don't see this one much. This is just the base finest mystery that has just awful centering. But we had a July 29th. Okay, we had a recent sale here. So it's at 1818. Now it's jumped, to 37. So almost double on an auction. So why did this jump so much? It looks nice. Newer grade. Centering isn't perfect, but it's good enough for the 10. Looks like. I don't know. Moving on. I've got this card in an 8, the gold medallions. That's nice to see. Up $1.26, 588 from July 7th. It's not that long ago, 260. So this card's doing really good. Got the 9 too, kind of right there with it. Another Fleer 7.5. Kind of go through some of these. Decade of Excellence. Okay, this is the one I really want to look at. The 95 Finest Refractor. PSA 10 sold for $43,200. This is a big sale. Believe the biggest Jordan sale last night. And yeah, so hasn't sold in over a year, so it's June of 2025. So we've basically almost 4x'd it. I have a 9 on this, so I'm happy to see a 10 come out and make some noise here. I will say a little bit of greening on here. My 9 does not have any, but a little on the arm. I don't believe that's a refractory component. But Other than that, it looks really nice. Super centered. I think the back too. Who cares about the back? But yeah, nice card there. Pop 16 on the 10. And then here we go. Here we got a 97 Bowman's Best base. What? Bro, what? Let's see here. Why? Pop 134 is actually not that many, I guess. 408. What's going on here? 408. Oh, my last comp is 39. I think this might just be wrong. Yeah, scratch this one. That's why, because it doesn't make sense. Full core trap. Let's check this too. 6,300. And yeah, it has. I don't have one since a 2023 sale, so that explains that. It's just too old of a comp. Yeah, it's a pop 5, so that's not super helpful in any way. Meltdown. Ooh, this one might be a little interesting. BGS 8.5. Sold at the end of the year. New Year's. Sold on New Year's. What was that? BGS 8.5. Okay. So my last comp was Meltdown 8 BGS 8.5. All right, so there might be an issue with that too. So scratch that one. Let's look at this. The 94 embossed PSA 10 pop 5. Unless it'd be interesting to see if any more pop in here. Nope, still pop 5. So the reason I say that, I pulled the pops in January. So any pop you see on my data, if it's different than what you're seeing on here, that tells you how many have been added since January. Yeah, so August 9th. So we got a 13,000 sale here. After just last month, it was at 4,800. So, wow, we've gone up over like 200% for sure. This is, I don't have this updated enough, so this number is wrong. But we've gone from about 5,000 to 13,000. So up over, maybe not quite 200%, but doing pretty darn good. And then the Stadium Club, this might not be anything either. It's up a little bit, but they didn't even have it in here. 2,100. Yeah, this July. Yeah, this has got to be PSA 9. Sorry, 500. Yeah, something is up with this one. There's no way a 9 went for 6,600. All right, so we'll just remove that. In any case, overall, what you're looking at is still a flaming hot market for most inserts. Obviously, these 86 stars, the rookie. I'm not seeing any real signs of a slowdown, save for a couple of these cards that we looked at. So I don't know. I guess we'll check in next week. I'll try to do this again, and we'll see where we're at. Again, give my Substack a follow, and just get in for free just to check it out. I give little sneak previews too in it. But tomorrow again, so I've got one coming out where we're tracking prices on cards that have some combination of the most the highest population of whatever that grade is and higher. How many times that card has sold at that grade or higher, I believe, is the other one. And then the growth from, I think I did 2 years, like how much that slab has grown in 2 years. So the ones that have gone the most and have the most sales and have the highest comp, we're going to consider the most likely avalanche starters. So cards that, eventually they're going to, run out of fumes and start going down in price, if any. Those would be the most likely suspects. So we'll see. So you'll see what those cards are. There's one in particular I mentioned about the lightning that just doesn't make any sense to me, except it has lightning. So you can see, you might be able to guess what that is. Not a rare card. not even an insert. So there you go. So that's it.